Yeah, so we have 3 million under contract.
That is Serge.
Where I was working before I started my company I was a database engineer at Intel.
And in this episode, we talk about his journey to entrepreneurship.
And I was like, I don't think I want to be a realtor. It's not my personality. I'm biased because I think service-based businesses are the best model because the startup costs are very low.
The secrets to investing in real estate.
And the first part is figuring out
Why?
We also talk about the difficulties of running a business.
I need to go out and make money. If I don't work today, I'm not getting paid. You're lonely. People don't believe in what you're saying.
Are you lonely? Like, do you really feel, yeah. Let's say like, you just started. How do you find the first client?
In my case, I was like, you know what?
Serge shares a lot of insights that I would have wanted when I was starting out on my journey, and I hope you find it as useful as I did. Let's lock in.
This makes me like want to
just kind of
slip
chill.
in, but I don't know if it's
You
gonna
could
cut
probably just chill, but
Right now we're shooting in an office that you just moved in.
yeah.
I think I saw on your IG you just had over 3 million.
Yeah, so we have 3 million under contract, which what that means is basically 3 million in real estate that my clients are trying to buy. So it might be one client's trying to buy a house and they're getting a loan of 500,000, another one's for 450. I think it's about 9 clients. We've been growing year over year, probably at least doubling our income year over year, which is good.
I know that it's really, really difficult
Yeah,
to like start something.
yeah,
When did you decide that you wanted to do the business you're doing now?
yeah. So my dad's an architect, and growing up, he designed a lot of buildings and homes in Rwanda. So I think being around that, like after he'd pick us up from school, take us to like the sites, the construction sites. And so I think growing up around that always made me feel like I need to be in real estate one way or another. So where I was working before I started my company I was a database engineer at Intel. I went to school for data analytics. But I think the longer I was in corporate, because I really was in corporate for like 6 years total from college, I just knew like this is not gonna work for me. Like I'm not happy here. I don't wanna be in corporate. Like, and granted, like Intel was a great company, but I just knew this is not for me. Like I'm not happy here. I don't like just coming in, clocking in, and not really feeling like I have an impact on people. Or like I didn't, I'd write code, and we were managing databases that were running the factory because that's where they're making chips. But I would write code, and then I'm like, okay, well, we move on to the next project. I'm like, what did I even accomplish? I didn't get to see the end results of my work, and so that was a big deciding factor to be like, you know what, I don't think corporate's for me. So during that time, I kind of I dabbled into a few things. So I bought real estate, and mainly in the Midwest.
While you still have the job?
Yeah, while I still had a job. So I bought my first house in 2023. No, sorry, my bad. 2019, right out of college. But that even getting to that point was another process because I felt like no one was teaching us how to buy a home, what credit is, and everything. And I remember sitting in my room in college and being like, dude, how do you even buy a house? I remember my professor would talk about, I love to be at my house and drinking wine and talking about how he bought his house for a really low price and now it's worth more. And I was like, man, like no one teaches us this stuff. Like no one teaches us about credit. And then you add on that you're an immigrant, right? Like most, if you're American born, your parents might have talked about it. They might have talked about credit cards and stuff. But I didn't know any of that.
Me neither, bro.
Yeah, and so
you should have sent me.
right, and and we're probably in the same boat because I was like, I didn't have anybody to explain that. My parents couldn't explain that because they didn't know the financial system here. And I think at the time they were about to move here, so I'm like, how am I even going to ask them about that? So just being typical Serge, I deep dive, I do research. I'm like, okay, what do I need to buy a house? And this was my freshman year of college. And it was like, okay, you need a credit card, you need this. And then I got a credit card right away. It was a small credit card, $500. So my goal was if I can build my credit enough for the next 4 years while I'm in college, by the time I graduate, when I get a job, I should be able to qualify, right? So
Do you
I-
remember which
it
credit
was
card?
a Capital One credit card. It was very simple, like it was very small. It was like $300. But I knew like, I'll get this one, then get another one that's got a bigger credit line and everything. Because it's all about just history, paying things on time and everything. So once I graduated, I was actually I forgot about that and I was like, okay, let me go get an apartment. And my dad was like, Serge, you know what? I think you should just look into buying. Don't go out to rent. Because he was like, he said in Kinyarwanda, ngo nujya mu bukode bizakugora kubuvamo. And he's like, I'm telling you out of experience, right? And dude, I'm not gonna lie, that was probably some of the best advice my parents have ever given me. Because it got me
Buying a house?
yeah, buying a house, period. Because I got my first house when I was 23. But, again, I do realize that there's privilege there because I had parents, I could stay with them, I didn't have any debt, and all those are things that could affect, your ability to qualify. But I think that I'm glad I took advantage of the situation I had and, was smart about it. But I ended up buying a house. And the process was very interesting. I liked the process. I asked a lot of questions. But to backtrack, I had also helped my parents buy a house because when they moved in the US, they needed a place and they didn't want to rent. So I did some research again because I think one thing that I underestimated that I do really well is just doing research and figuring things out. So I did research, found a lender, like a very personal lender. It wasn't like a big bank. An older gentleman in Scottsdale. We met, we connected. He literally lent my parents money, and I think they paid him off within like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
But it was like, I was just like, I remember going to meet the guy. My dad's like, are you sure we're not getting scammed?
Yeah.
But I was just like, well, we're going to figure it out, so that mentality of figuring things out. So anyways, fast forward, I get my house and I'm like, man, I really like this process, but I wonder if I started watching Bigger Pockets. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's like a podcast about, buying real estate, generational wealth, blah, 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 all that good stuff. So then I'm like, you know what? How can I get my first house? And I kept getting people that were asking me like, hey, how did you buy a house? I talked to my friend who was a realtor at the time and I shadowed him for like a month. And I was like, I don't think I want to be a realtor. It's not my personality. I'm not an extrovert that's trying to run around showing people homes. Then I had another friend.
Was that the most, like, the turn off? The fact that you would go and meet people and...
Well, I just didn't like to be running around. Like, I like to sit down, figure out problems, numbers, or whatever. But, with realtors,
the opposite of me, bro.
Really?
The fact that you like math is crazy.
Well, it's not even crazy math. It's just
Okay.
problem solving. Like being like, this client has a low credit score, but they have a down payment. How do we get them into a home, right? That's the part I like. But running around, looking at homes, like I think that's just doesn't fit my personality. So then once I figured that out, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. But I had another friend who had helped with one of my loans for my home. So I hit him up and I was like, man, like, what does it entail to be a loan officer and originate loans? He kind of told me about it, and I had already done research, but I wanted to confirm with him the income and granted, like sales. I always looked down on sales. I thought, people that do sales, there's no skill in that. But I quickly
Wait, you
learned.
didn't think there was a skill?
I
in
always
sales?
thought sales was just kind of a low-level job that is not very respectable. You don't need a college degree for that, right?
What do you think now?
No, I think it's a great it's a great career.
Yeah.
But you have to believe in
I
what
mean,
you're
as a
selling.
business owner,
Yeah.
it's-
I mean, and the thing is, I didn't realize we're all selling something. When you're going to get a job, you're selling yourself, right? So if you're selling something you truly believe, then you're gonna do a good job at it and people are gonna buy it. And people can tell, clients can tell if you're BSing, if you don't really believe in what you're selling. And so I learned, hey, you know what, you can make a lot of money, but also I was like, man, I can make a ton of money, and there's no cap on how much I can make, but I could be doing what I love.
That's important, bro. The fact
Yeah.
there's no cap on
Yeah.
what you can make.
And you can, I know people that, I know a guy that makes $2 million a year doing loans. I know people that make under 100,000 doing loans. So it's all about like your drive, being able to network. But I also think it's not all about the money. The money is kind of the byproduct, but I think if you like what you do, and you truly have a heart for helping people, I think the money is just kind of like a byproduct of you doing a great job.
Would you do it if there was no money in it?
Absolutely. I was doing that before.
Really?
Like, people were literally asking me about buying homes, and I would give them advice, but I didn't know I could make a career out of it when I bought my first house. Because a lot of my
Really?
friends were like, dude, how did you buy a house right out of college, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, come to my house, let's talk about it. And I would, even on my, my Instagram, I was sharing what I was doing. Because I'm like, why do people not know about this, especially in our community? Because a lot of people in our community work hard, they make a lot of money, they work 2 to 3 jobs, but they're still renting. And no one's telling them you can leverage real estate to like grow your wealth and stuff. And it's not like the get rich fast stuff. Like, it takes time, you gotta be patient, and you gotta work on your credit and all that. And so I truly, truly enjoyed it, and I love it, and I would do it even if I wasn't getting paid for it, because I'm the kind of person that, like, if I find out something that I think is a good idea or like is a good opportunity, and sometimes people say this is a weakness I have, but I tell it to everybody. But I don't think that's a weakness, because I don't have a scarcity mindset. There's a lot of people that have a scarcity mindset, and they think, oh, I found this opportunity, I'm not gonna tell anybody, right? And I think, at least if you're in America, bro, there's a lot of money to be made. There's more money to be made for everybody. And I can't stand people that gatekeep, that don't share information. Like, if you're that way, I don't trust you, and I'm not gonna be around you. Because I feel like, like how to me, that's like a very selfish mindset. And you're also not confident in your ability to go out and make money, but also that God's got blessings for all of us, right? There's blessings God's got for you that I can't do anything about.
Yeah, dude.
And I truly believe that. So why would I gatekeep and not want to share information that I have if God's going to bless you anyways? I'd rather be a part of that and be a vessel and share that knowledge, and maybe next time you'll share something with me or whatever, because I had people that shared that information with me. The only thing that I do try to tell people, and actually I don't know how we got into this part.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I get a lot of people that reach out and they're like, oh, how did you get into this business? And I'm like, oh, I did this and this. Or I'm like, let's get on the phone and talk. And they're like, well, just send me a list of everything I need and I'll go do it. To me, that's also a mindset that I don't like, because you just want to be spoon-fed. You're not like, hey, I went out and passed the test. What's the next step? Like, go do something and then come back and say, hey, help me like figure out the next step. But certain people are just like, give me everything, but I haven't done anything, right? To me, like, people like that, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have time for you. At least if you show that, hey, I've started, here's where I'm at, can you help me get to the next step, right? But that goes with anything, everything. If you want help or want someone to help you get to the next level, like, you need to at least start somewhere and show that, hey, I've been proactive enough, and here's what I've done, and it makes me think of like Shark Tank. People get on Shark Tank, they don't get there and like, oh, I have an idea. They get there and like, hey, we've started a business, we've been doing this much in sales, can we get help to get to the next level? So I think that's a mindset.
Dude, even how
change.
like I reached out to you for the interview.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Yeah.
Said I've been doing a solo show for 9 months.
Yep. Here's what I've been doing.
The episode that I had done recently.
Yeah.
You
were doing something.
I was
right?
already doing something.
Yeah. You weren't just like, give me everything and then I'll go do it.
And to be honest, it's also like when you say like, how do you start? Because for this show, what I told you before, who I really want to help.
Yeah.
Is someone who's just starting out, who's going on the journey that you and I and some version are on, right?
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of things that go into it, but not everybody starts. There's some people obviously like you who starts and they figure out everything that they want to do, like right away. For some people, like me, when I started everything that I've been doing, even like getting a corporate job and whatever, like I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you were trying it out.
I was trying things out.
Yeah.
And
but
I
that's
wasn't,
all of us.
Right,
that's
bro.
all of us. And I'll share why, but keep going.
Yeah. And there's like the element of I'm doing this, but I don't know where it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I'm taking the leap, right? When you said I'm going to quit this job, the corporate job, and go full time into this, like you're making a pretty big decision.
Oh yeah, and
when I said I'm going to rent out all these cameras and I've been doing this for 9 months, I'm going to go all in and try to meet people and have conversations. I'm making a pretty big leap, right? But I don't know if it's going to work out. But you have to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
That's the point that I was trying to get to, right? I said I'm going to do it for 9. I wasn't saying that I'm going to do it for 9 months. But I said I'm going to. There's nobody who's going to come on my show without me showing them proof of work.
What you've done.
What I've done before. So I need to put in the reps first. One, to even like get good and figure out how to do this.
How to set things up and.
Right? And learn how to have a conversation. Right? Because I don't know if I would have been able to have a conversation like this 9 months ago. To be honest. I've learned a lot. Trying to do this by myself. That it puts me in the position then to sit down and have a conversation with you or anybody that I'm going to be having on. Right? So it's the same thing for you. You had to
try things out and bet on myself. That's what I like to say. And I think that I don't think there's anybody that's gotten into the entrepreneurial journey or solopreneur or whatever you want to call it that didn't try things out and things failed. Like most people I know, they tried things out and they failed. And I think, like I said, going the real estate route, buying a bunch of real estate, I lost money on 2 deals. I lost over $10,000, and that's not a lot for some people. But for me, working in corporate, like that was a lot. But there's a lot of lessons I would not have learned if I didn't do that. I don't think I'd be doing mortgages now if I didn't try that out, right? And sometimes I've had a friend be like, hey, you just do things and you get it done. I'm like, yeah, because how am I gonna know if it's gonna work, right? Like, if I'm just gonna stay on the sidelines and wonder if it's gonna work, like, you can never get into business with guaranteed results. Like, that's never gonna happen. It's always an up and down journey, and you have to be able to like roll with the punches and get up when things suck and believe in your vision and stuff. And again, I want to acknowledge that that's not everybody. There's people that want the comfort and they don't want to worry about where's my next paycheck coming from, and right. And I realized what drives me is waking up every day being like, I need to go out and make money. If I don't work today, I'm not getting paid, right? And I'm still at that place where my goal would be to get to a place where I'm not
You wake up
involved.
and you don't have to.
Yeah, and I wake up and money's still coming out, right? And that takes time and building systems and processes and a team of people that you trust and building a company, and that's what I'm doing now. But I think it's about the journey, and if you're, and like I said, I don't think everybody's made to be an entrepreneur.
You don't think so?
And no, 1,000%. I think there's more people made to be employees than entrepreneurs, because you kind of have to be delusional. You're always the crazy one. A lot of people tell you how is this gonna work out. But for me, the thing is, like, I am delusional because there's a lot of stuff
back to high school. Back to high school. You literally threw a stone. Was it a rock?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know if it was me, but
yeah. And then it was just like, and I've always just kind of been in my own world and doing things my way. And again, that always got me into trouble because I always wanted to do things my way. But I think that you gotta have a certain level of delusionalness, if that's even a term, to be an entrepreneur, because you have to believe in things and because I'll say certain stuff like when I was getting into the mortgage business. And granted, I didn't just quit my job. I look at it as like things have to be gradual. Like the way a plane takes off, that's how I look at it. And when it lands, it doesn't just land like this, right? It needs to get on the runway and everything. And so I took time.
Did anybody tell you to do that? Because some people just quit.
Well, I was like, I need to make money and provide for myself and my family and everything. And so I knew that I needed to be very calculated on how I was doing that. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Because my dad always said, like, fast money is not good money. It's not always good money. And so I was like, I shouldn't expect to make money quickly or for things to happen quickly. Like, good things take time, right? So, and you've probably heard that saying.
Especially in business, man.
Yeah, dude. And a lot of people, that's the mistake people make. They want to come in and get things done quickly, and if it doesn't work, boom, they're out. People underestimate the time and effort it takes to get a good thing going.
Yeah.
And I think that was my goal. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do this for maybe 6 to 12 months. If it really works, and I'm at least making 2 to 3 times what I'm making at my current job, I'm gonna quit. And that's what I did. I did it for about 7, 8 months, and then I was getting clients, and it was working out, and then I left my job. But back to my point that entrepreneurship is not for everybody, I think that you have to be delusional, you have to believe in what you're doing. And I had people tell me when I was getting into the mortgage business, they're like, have you ever done loans? What experience do you have? I'm like, I don't, but I'm willing to learn, and everybody that started it they were a beginner at some point. Yeah. But now my journey was a bit different because most people, they'll go to a big company, a big bank, learn the rules and the guidelines, get experience, and then if they're up for it, they'll go out and start their own brokerage in their company. I went straight, and I worked for my friend who had a brokerage for 6 months, then worked at another brokerage for like under a year. Then I was like, you know what? I think I can do this stuff. And in the meantime, I was starting my company, and then I left. But
tell me what we said you didn't want to do, to be a realtor.
Yeah.
And you said you didn't want to do sales, even though you're selling now.
Yeah.
But what's the difference between being a realtor and being a
mortgage broker? So people need to come to me first because I will help them figure out how much they qualify in terms of a loan or money to buy a house. And so I knew, hey, I'd been in this process for myself, and I knew the process. So I was like, hey,
process of buying a house.
Yeah, of buying a house. And the first part is figuring out, how much do I qualify for? How much is the bank willing to lend me, right? They're gonna look at your credit score, your income, how much down you have in terms of liquid assets. And so I knew that I liked figuring that out and solving that problem for people, and it required me to be at a desk, either get on a call so I was selling something I knew. It wasn't, and that's when I learned, like, we're all selling something. And the sooner you realize that, I think the farther you'll get in life. And so once I figured out what was required to become a loan officer, a mortgage broker, or whatever, which now I'm a mortgage broker because I own my company. A loan officer is you're working under a company and you're originating loans, right?
Okay.
So once I figured out what it took, man, I took time off from work, took the test. I studied for like 2 months, passed it. Then I got into I started working with people that I knew, and they hired me, and I had some experience, and I realized, like, man, I really could do this myself. And so that's when I knew. I think once I started to do a few loans, I already knew that I liked the process even before I started doing it, but that's usually the excitement. But usually you kind of get a reality check where you get into the work and the nitty-gritty stuff.
Oh, this is not what I expected.
Yeah, and a lot of times that's what happens. But I think I was like, oh, I love this. I love the problem-solving aspect. So I was like, man, I'm gonna do this the rest of my life.
Really?
And I think the reason why I said I'm gonna do it the rest of my life is because as an entrepreneur and someone who's wanting to grow all the time, I'm going to be leveraging loans from the bank. So I was like, I might as well, whether I'm doing it for my clients or for myself, I'm going to be doing it for the rest of my life. because I'm not just, I want to get into commercial real estate and stuff, and that's a big goal of mine.
So who do you help now?
I mainly help the African community. That's just the people that come to me. And then first-time home buyers, investors, second-time home buyers or whatever, just residential real estate. Anybody that wants to buy residential real estate, we help them with that. And then we recently started a title company.
Yeah, what is that? How is that different?
Yeah, and so basically what a title company is like a middle party in a transaction in real estate that makes sure that all the contract is being followed, right? So you have a seller, you have a buyer, you have the lender, and then you have a title company. So a title company makes sure whatever the agreement is between the seller and the buyer, the contract is being executed properly. And so they also get the funds from the lender. When the lender lends the buyer the money, you're legally required to use a title company in the U.S. when real estate is exchanging hands. So the title company is handling the money from the lender, and they make sure when we get the loan from the lender, we're paying the seller, or we're paying off their loan. If they have a loan on the house, then we're paying them the difference, whatever's left over. We're paying any contractors that are involved, whether they're fixing up the house or whatever. We're getting the down payment from the buyer to pay towards the purchase of the home. They also offer, really the main thing they offer is also title insurance. And what that means, it's basically insurance on the title of the home saying, hey, Roger's buying this home, and we can guarantee you that this house is being transferred properly. No one's gonna come back and say, hey, I was left out on this purchase and I was part owner or whatever. They call it's clear title. There's no cloud on the title or whatever. And so they basically give you insurance saying, if anybody ever comes back and says, hey, you didn't pay us, let's say, and this also happens sometimes, let's say there was a contractor that came and did something on the home and they didn't get paid. And they come and say, hey, Roger, you bought this house, but the previous owner didn't pay us for these windows that we fixed. That insurance is for that. They'll pay off that person.
So right? You don't have to
Yeah, so on the insurance side, we need to make sure that before that property is transferred, all that's taken care of. Anybody that has a lien or needs to get paid out or whatever is paid, and then they give you clear title saying, hey, you own the house, there's nothing attached to it. So it's pretty important actually, because the lender requires a lender's insurance policy which protects their interest in the home, right? So no one can come and sue and say, hey, this home, the lender lent $400,000, but we own part of it, so now the lender could lose, their stake in the home. So that's really what a title company is. A lot of people don't know because they only deal with it once. And so, yeah, we kind of figured that it's an ancillary business. We deal with title companies a lot, and sometimes things don't go as planned. So we're like, hey, if we can control that portion of the transaction as well, we can make it a much smoother and desirable experience for our clients.
But I have a question there, right?
Yeah.
I think a big part of what I learned, at least for me in my journey, right? When I started dabbling into entrepreneurship and working for yourself and business and whatever, I was still back in Rwanda, right? And it started with, like what you said, what are you interested in? What do you like? What do you find interesting?
Yeah.
And at the time, it was COVID-19. Everybody went home. I was still in school. And I was like, I'm bored. I had been trying to teach myself photography and whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me start learning something new.
Yeah.
So I picked up graphic design.
Yeah.
And to sort of challenge myself, I was like, I'm going to learn graphic design every single day, make a graphic using what I learned, and post it on Instagram. Yeah, post it every single day, consistently for 90 days.
Oh wow,
and
that's impressive.
It's not even like that impressive to me because I really enjoyed it. I was like staying up to 2 a.m. in the morning, bro. Like designing because
that means you like something.
I was so into it. Like, it was the first time I got myself lost in like working on something.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I loved it so much.
Yeah.
But I tell the story because 90 days after, somebody DM'd me.
Yeah.
And it was a guy from Canada.
Yeah.
I was still in Rwanda.
Yeah.
I had never like moved out of the country.
Yeah.
So getting a DM from somebody from Canada, I was like, this is
crazy.
You know, crazy. And apparently the guy was like starting a roaster company. Yeah. Like a coffee roaster company.
Yeah.
So he reaches out to me. He's like, yo, I've been following you and I love your stuff. And I think I would like to work with you on, you know, designing I think he wanted to do brand identity for his company and mailers and everything, packaging for the products.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of being delusional, I'd never worked with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was working on a computer. Well, I think it was like a Toshiba or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't like gonna do the job.
Yeah.
It was barely doing the graphics that I was doing.
Yeah.
But I still like was like,
you know what?
This is an opportunity. If it's God, if it's whoever sent it to me because he knew that I was gonna be able to do it.
Yep.
So just say yes. We hop on a call. 2 weeks maybe after, I signed the contract.
No way.
And that was more money than I've ever touched in my life.
Crazy.
I think was like a 1K, which is not, you know.
Well, you were like, that's
a lot of money,
good.
but like I was
when you're starting out, that's
in Rwanda.
Yeah,
like, that's a lot of money.
It is.
And I used 30% down payment that he gave me to buy the computer that I used to
you needed,
to do the work. To do the work. It was like, do you think you can also do my website?
Yeah.
I was like, sure.
I'm gonna learn.
I learn web design, learn web development, develop the website that he ended up using to sell the coffee.
Wow.
That he was doing.
Yeah.
But I tell the story because
you had to be delusional.
I had to be delusional, but I mentioned it because right when I moved to the United States, I made a very simple but mistake that I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it.
Yeah.
Because it led me to this, led me to everything that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I stopped doing web design.
Yeah.
And went into video production.
Yeah.
I think that was a really big mistake because one, like knowing what I know now from a marketing perspective, I had a client that I've worked with who was happy.
Yeah.
A testimonial is a huge,
it's huge
thing.
Gives you trust from people.
Gives you trust. You know, you can market that. You can.
Yeah,
obviously, I didn't
results.
know that. Yeah, right. But I didn't focus.
Yeah.
I lost focus, and I changed direction.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked that question. Like, what is the importance of focus for you? You said you want to do this for life.
Yeah.
And I think one, that is a smart, from a career perspective, that is a smart idea.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Like, do you think starting maybe the title company, is that still in line
focused on
with
mortgage? Yeah, I see what you mean. Man, and that's something I actually think about a lot because I kind of have that as a weakness. Like I love starting businesses. I like, again, problem solving. I really like the starting part of starting a business. And so I found myself thinking about all these business ideas. And then I get to the point where I'm like, man, I'm not going to start all these businesses. And I watched this video by this guy. He calls himself the Sweatpant Millionaire. His name's Onyi. He's into commercial real estate. He's just an all-around well-balanced guy. But he said something that was like, it was to the effect of, a lot of people try to do too much stuff and they don't focus and go deep on one thing, that them spreading themselves thin really affects how effective they get and how they grow things. And I think really, if you look at people that have been successful, they go deep on one thing, then they branch out once they're deep enough, right? But if you, again, I'm not trying to sound like an old man, but like, if you're gonna build a nice building, you're not going, a short distance and then spreading it out. If you're gonna build something big, you gotta go really deep to have a good foundation and then you can diversify. And I think that's what I've been learning. And so the only reason why I got into title was because it's already a part of what I'm doing. It's in the same family of the type of business that I'm doing, but I'm focused on my mortgage business. The title side, I'm obviously in the beginning, it's taking me time and I have to build it and build a team, but my goal would be that we hire people and we really get it going and kind of let that grow on its own. But really my passion is mortgages. I think for me, the title business is really just to control the process that our clients have to go through and make it enjoyable. And also because, especially for the African community, one problem that I wanted to solve and that led me to this was, we'd go to a closing table, they're signing documents, final documents to buy a house, and you got, God bless whoever it is that's American that doesn't really know any other language or how to explain things, and they're just saying stuff, and the client's like, yeah, signing stuff, probably signing like 100 pages.
You mean white people?
Yeah, I was young, and they're just, and it's just that disconnect of like, I'm signing all this stuff, I'm giving you guys a bunch of money, but I don't know what it means. And so my goal and my dream would be to have a diverse group of people that can be there when, let's say, you have a Rwandan person signing documents that might not necessarily understand English or understands it but would like it to be spoken in their language while they're signing, and to have someone like that represents them, that can explain all that in Kinyarwanda or whatever, or in French, or just kind of to represent the African immigrant population, because we really get left out a lot. And we're not lazy. We work hard. We come here with dreams and we get things done. But I think a lot of times we lack information. And man, like in this country, if you're going to be successful, you need information. You can have all the money, but if you don't have the right information, the right connections, that money is going to be wasted, right? And so I think that was a part of me trying to provide people with information, because I think my goal is, if my clients, if they buy a house, that piques an interest and they want to be like, how can I get another house? Or how can I leverage real estate to grow my family wealth and generational wealth and stuff, right? So, but they're not going to do that if they don't get the information. If all they're doing is signing and don't understand how anything works and they just have a house, great. You just solved the problem of them having a home, but you didn't really give them the knowledge behind it, right? And so that was kind of my driving factor, or one of my driving factors of starting the title company. And also selfishly, the other part is I love to start businesses, and there's a lot of satisfaction I get from starting something and seeing it come to fruition, right? So yeah, that's why I got into it.
Yeah, tell me, so the takeaway there, right, for anybody who's watching, I think, is when you pivot, and you're not pivoting, right? You are adding something, but also that thing that you're adding on is coming to support what
I'm already doing, right?
Right? Which is what was my mistake. I think that in the beginning I thought like my skills defined who I was. You know what I'm saying? If I'm doing web design, I'm a web designer. So if I want to do video, I have to completely abandon web design and go into video production. While the best way to think about it is, this is a skill. I know how to do it. I can learn something else. Like you still know how to do database, development and whatever. But you also know how to do mortgage. Now you're learning how to do title, and you're not learning. You already know, but you're like learning how to build a team around it and, you know, provide that as a service.
Yeah.
Your skills don't define you. That's what I'm trying to say. Like you can learn other things, but you really, really have to stay committed to one thing for it to turn into a profitable business. If you want to turn that into a business.
And to add to that, it also depends on your goals, because I think, like I said, my goal is to grow the company to where I have a team that runs everything and I can still be involved, but I don't have to be the focus that everybody depends on. And I think in entrepreneurship, you kind of have to have that as the goal. Because if you have to be there for your business to run, then you're really just self-employed, right? And I'm working towards that too. Like I'm building a team, and I'm finally feeling like, hey, I can get free time to do other things. I don't have to work on the weekends because I have a team that can do a lot of tasks, and that, you know, I gotta have trust for them. First of all, I gotta hire the right people, which is another skill set. Like hiring people, managing people is, man, I have a lot of respect for my old managers at my old companies. Like I remember at Intel, I was like, why do you guys need a relationship manager? Like that's such a, forgive my French, but that's a bullshit position. But it's so important because managing people, managing egos, personalities is a skill. And I've come to learn that, and I respect those people a lot. And so I realized I need to learn this and learn how to deal with personalities, how to motivate people, get them to be driven and get work done. Because you can be motivated, but if you don't know how to motivate your team, you're gonna have mediocre results, right? And so if you're getting into the entrepreneurial journey, you need to figure out, like, what do I want out of it? Do I just want a job? Do I want to hire myself for, you know, start a company and just get a job? Or do I want to actually hire people, build something that's bigger than me, that can be there way past when I'm gone, right? And so I think that's a really important thing to think about in the beginning, and figure out like what you want out of that. And it's also
you don't have to figure it out in the beginning, because I'm sure you didn't.
No.
You just wanted to start a company.
Yeah, and the entrepreneurial like journey is, we're all figuring it out every day. I think you just have to figure out, like, what's my end goal? Some people might be like, you know what, I really like being an esthetician and I want to be that for the rest of my career and do that, and I don't want to start a business that does that, right? For me, I think one thing that I like about being an entrepreneur, one of my driving factors, is freedom. I want to have freedom to travel, do whatever I want to do, but I know it's going to come at a cost and it's going to take time. So my dad always says, you pay now and play later, or you play now and pay later, right? So I'd rather pay now.
That is awesome. It sounds like it gives you like a lot of...
No, my dad's my hero, man. Like, he's very important. But so I'm like, I need to pay now and I'll play later, right?
If there's one thing that I really, really underestimated, is how much work goes into, from an idea to people are paying me.
Yeah.
Like I still don't fully, I still like get surprised on like how much work that has to go into that, right? Talk to me about the not so fun part of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So I think, you know, most people don't know, but there's obviously costs that come in the beginning. So you're either getting loans to start your business.
Did you?
I did a little bit. Thankfully, it was very minimal, and I was able to pay it off. And that was part of my strategy. I was like, hey, if I'm gonna get into the mortgage business or start my own brokerage, like, what's the cost? And I'm huge on, I'm biased because I think service-based businesses are the best model, because the startup costs are very low, and it's all about your effort and everything. And it's not a knock on like commodities and selling a product, right? But I think that if I was to shut my doors next week and I have no clients, I don't have barely any overhead. I mean, my office, some tools that I use, but that's it. I wouldn't have a warehouse of product that I'm not able to sell, right? So I think that's why I really like that model. It's very profitable because you have low overhead, your margins are very good, And yeah, the potential of making money is high because I'm just offering a service. I'm not buying something, trying to buy it at a certain point and, and trying to sell it at a certain margin. And so that's why I think I like that model. And yeah, and then also just I like to, numbers, I think when you're doing numbers, it's just a service-based business.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I still find it funny that you find numbers really attractive. I don't.
No, I think I figured that out later too. But the not so fun stuff about being an entrepreneur is like you're lonely. People don't believe in what you're saying.
Are you lonely? Like, do you really feel?
I think there's a lot of times where I feel like people don't understand my goals and my dreams, and that's okay. I don't expect you to believe what I want to do because I know my abilities and what I'm capable of. So there's a lot of people that kind of know you at a certain point in your life and they keep you there. And so when they see you doing certain things now, they're kind of like, damn, this kid, like this knucklehead from back in the day can do this. So I think that it can be very lonely because you believe in yourself and what you're doing. And I don't need people to tell me I can do this. I just, again, there's that delusional mindset of if I put my mind to it, I can do it, right? So there's that part. I think there's the part of you work a lot in the beginning, you put in a ton of hours. I definitely work more now than I did when I was at my old job. But part of it is also because I love it and I'm able to just put in the hours. But I think there's a lot, you have to do things that you don't necessarily like. I don't like managing people, hiring people or whatever, but that's a part of the business. And I've learned to enjoy that, or at least I'm learning to enjoy that now. But you wear different hats and you have to be dynamic. You can't just be like, oh, I can't do that. Nothing's beneath you. If I gotta, for example, if you have a store and you gotta mop or clean the toilets, if you think that's beneath you, you're never gonna be in business. So you have to be willing to do things that other people are not willing to do, right? So put in the time.
Because it's your business.
It is your business. Nobody's gonna come to save you. And I think that's the one thing I love about America is like, if you're here and you're driven, you're gonna make it. If you think you're gonna get things handed to you, it's gonna be a harsh reality. I think the other thing that's not as fun is there's failures, and there's been months in my business where I don't close as many deals as I'd like to, and maybe I'm spending money to grow it, and there's that, and there's the stress. You're always questioning yourself, like, did I make the right decision, or did I not? And so that's the part, like, you really don't know, and you're kind of living day by day.
Dude.
And the goal is to get past that where your business grows and you're not afraid all the time. But in the beginning, you're kind of like, at least in the mortgage business, you're like, where's my next paycheck coming from? And then you get to believe in yourself and your abilities because people come to you. And sometimes I'm like, man, like people really like mess with me and they want to work with me. And it does like help with your confidence, because sometimes it could be a big hit to your confidence when you're not getting clients or whatever. But I believe in just doing the right thing, providing a service, and the best, marketing is clients that you've helped and they'll refer business to you. So yeah, I think the grind, questioning yourself, the failures, nobody talks about those, wanting to quit, but I think...
Did you ever want to quit?
There's times where I've gotten to that, but I think that I always think of it as like, hey, you know what? If I closed 6 loans last month, I'm like, I could do it again. Why not, right? And so I think you just have to be delusional and really believe in yourself, because no one's gonna believe in yourself more than you believe in yourself.
What do you think is has been the most difficult day or moment?
In my business, in
Journey.
the mortgage business, I think when you invest so much time and money into something and it completely flops, or in my case, sometimes you might have 3 deals and they all go to shit and they just fall through. You're like, man, what did I do wrong? They don't close. They don't close, and there's a part where you're like, man, I feel like I failed my clients, but also that's your livelihood. And you're like, I'm not getting paid. And you have to be okay with that. And you have to be able to prepare for those kinds of situations and not act like, oh, I got paid, I'm just gonna spend all this money.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, next month you might not close anything.
Yeah.
And over time, you get more confident because your business grows, you get a consistent flow of clients, and yeah, but it's a journey, and trusting in your abilities, but also making smart decisions. Because it's very easy to go out of business in this business. You make a lot of money once, spend it all, and then you're there and you're like, shoot, I don't have any clients, right? Because there are operating expenses and stuff, but yeah, I think those are kind of the not so fun parts, or losing like $10,000 like I did when I was investing in real estate, and then I was like, I think for a week I was like, I hate real estate. Then I was like, oh no, I think I love it. You're constantly questioning yourself.
Yeah. Dude, I know for sure, like when one of the biggest things for me was like a lot of self-doubt.
Yeah.
Like when you think about like getting clients, and let's say like, you just started.
Mm-hmm.
For someone who wants to like get into a service business, it doesn't necessarily have to be a mortgage business.
Yeah.
How do you find the first client?
I mean, in my case, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to churches. I'm going to start my Instagram, market it. And my Instagram really didn't start giving me clients until end of last year. Before that, it was like going to events, meeting people, doing events. I mean, just in the beginning, I was spending money from my initial job, right? Getting people to know you. And one thing people underestimate, especially in our culture as Rwandese, and I think the guy at the School of Hard Knocks, James Dunman, says this, it's like, where attention is, money follows. If no one knows what I do, they're not gonna come to me. So I have to like get myself out there every day. I'm like, I need to post, whether it's just random stuff. Like I need to stay top of mind, right? If I need Roger to know, hey, I want to buy a house, Serge is there. Hopefully on that specific day I've posted, or I come to mind, right? And I can only come to mind by, we're fighting for your attention, our clients' attention.
Yeah.
But if I'm just in the back, I don't post anything, I don't put myself out there at all, no one's gonna know what I'm doing, and then I don't get any clients, right? So in the beginning it was posting, investing in like good content, going to events, meeting people, starting with my circle of influence, and then over time all that compounds and it snowballs. It's the snowball effect. Then I'll start getting clients from my past clients, then from Instagram, then from our website, then from random events, people I meet at the airport or whatever. It all kind of comes together, but you're making deposits. But you can't expect to take stuff out without putting any time in, right? So I know there's clients I'm getting right now that we might have met 3 years ago, right? And at the time, I might have looked at it as like, oh, I don't know when we'll meet, but you never know. And I think when you're selling, if you realize that we're all selling something, you realize like anything could happen. Anybody could be a client, or they could get me to my next client. And I think that makes me realize I need to segue into like, treat people with respect. Anybody, like, don't look at someone and disrespect them. Not that because you want something from them. Obviously, they could be a client or whatever, but also just be a good person. Because I've realized there's people I meet, and if I was to judge them and be like, oh, this person, this and that, I would have missed out on an opportunity. It might not even be a client, but it might be a connection to another opportunity, right? And so I think keeping that in mind, especially as an entrepreneur, that'll get you far. Not burning bridges, right? Because I think in Mukinyarwanda they say, kubana n'abantu. Kumenya kubana n'abantu, like knowing how to be a good person and being around people, like that'll take you a lot farther than just trying to like, get business any other way. Because people want to work with somebody they like. If you're an asshole, nobody wants to work with you. Even if your product's good, I mean, there's certain levels where it doesn't matter, but generally, if you're offering a service and you're an asshole, no one wants to deal with you. So if you're a good person and you make people feel good and you treat them well with respect, they will want to work with you. Because a lot of times what I'm offering Josh Smith in Scottsdale is offering too. But if I come to you and I treat you with respect,
Josh is not offering as good of a service as you do.
Well, that might be the difference, right? The difference might be I talked to Roger and I told him, man, I like what you're doing, and I encouraged you, and I asked you how your day was going. That might be the difference maker with you working with me than whoever in whoever other mortgage broker there is, right? And so I think that's usually underestimated, especially with younger people and with our egos and whatever. And I think that's probably the biggest lesson I've ever learned in business.
Yeah.
Like, just do the right thing, be a good person,
be good people,
treat people with respect. And
dude, that is so.
And it's so basic. It sounds cliche, right?
It's so basic, but it's literally the most. Two things. One is be a good person.
Yeah.
And to be a good person, it's not just like be a good person. Be interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, is it fun when I'm hanging out with you? Is it fun or not?
Yeah.
Like,
are you someone people want to be around?
Dude, that
right?
makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Right? Even when we're talking about, putting yourself out there and like having conversations with people. Doing business is dealing with people.
It is. It is.
And if people don't like
being around you,
if we have a first call, like if I call me and you had the first call and they were like, this, you didn't get the vibe, or I didn't get the vibe,
it wouldn't
this
work.
would not be happening.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
It comes down to be interesting. And be interesting, like being practical about it. Like if we're talking about being interesting, someone might say, like, what do I need to do to be interesting? For me, I think it's, what do you do when you're not doing business? Right? Are you reading books? Are you watching shows? Like, are you wasting time?
You're right. That's
what people might consider like wasting time, for me, I don't consider wasting time. You have no idea how much time I spend looking for things that are interesting that somebody else might find interesting. Like, throughout the conversation, you were mentioning people, you were mentioning books, you were mentioning, a Nigerian guy that you follow. Like, the things that you do outside of sitting down and doing your job is what makes you good to hang out with. Right? And it's not a waste of time if you spend some time watching a show. Because that show might be the thing that when you go out to get a drink somewhere, that connects you with the person who ends up working with you.
And I think what you're
so
saying
important.
too, that's really huge, because you got to be open-minded to try different things. You can never really put me in a box. I'm always trying random stuff. One day I'm on a horse, another day I'm like playing pickleball or golf.
You play pickleball?
Yeah, I love pickleball. Yeah, we got to play sometime.
You hope to.
I played today,
as well.
So it's like, people are like, oh, you do everything. I'm like, no, I like to do different things because I just want to try things. I don't want to be boxed in. And so, but going back to being interesting, I think if you're just a person that it's a pleasure to be around and it's enjoyable to be around you, like, just even basic stuff, like you're not negative and you're not complaining all the time. Like, to me, if I'm talking to you and you're just talking about problems and how things suck and life sucks, like, I'm gonna be like, peace out, I'm out. Like, because you're just bringing me down.
Negative energy.
Yeah, but if you, and not that you should fake that you're happy, but just try to have a positive outlook on life, and then people just want to be around you. And I think if you can do those things and treat people the right way, I think then
have hobbies too, man. Like, I see you play. You just mentioned you play pickleball. That's something we can connect to.
Exactly.
You play basketball.
Yeah.
You play golf.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You have a life outside of doing business.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I mean, I don't want to speak to you, but like, that connects you to
other people. Absolutely.
People. That's how you meet people too.
Yeah, and even you have things to talk about, right? Like, I usually will play pickleball in Chandler. There's a spot called Pickleball Kingdom. I meet 70-year-olds. I'm like, some of these people I would never meet. We have different lifestyles, grew up differently, but we might play and they might kick my ass because they've been playing a long time, but we connect, and right? And it's like, same with golf, or some of my good friends that I've made in playing basketball or going to the gym. There's a lot of people that hit me up about weightlifting and stuff because I really like it. and reconnect through that, right? So I think just...
How has that, I'm sorry, I'm not going to cut you short, but how has that, I wanted to talk about it. For me, I think something that has taken me through the difficulties of trying to build something, when everything else is not working.
Yeah, you need the gym.
You can go to the gym.
Oh,
like
dude,
it's
that's literally me.
It's the thing that is consistent.
Yes, exactly.
In my life.
I almost feel like as entrepreneurs, it's the thing you can control, because we want things that we can control. And sometimes in work, I might be having a hard day, clients struggling, and they're pissed off, or things are not going well. Bro, when I go to the gym, for me, it's literally therapy. I go there, I tune out things, I put in some dope-ass music, and I
What are you
pump.
playing?
I mean, anything from country to, to like rap or whatever, and I listen to everything. That's another thing. Like, I listen to all kinds of music. So I'll listen to that, and then I feel good about myself. I look at my muscles, I'm like, man, I'm fit. Because I've been working out pretty consistently for 10 years. Like,
really?
Like, I've probably missed, like, the longest period I've gone without working out continuously was a week, right? And I want to keep that momentum forever, because it's something that I'm like, it's consistent in my life. I cut out all the noise and I focus on one thing, building my body, and just I feel good about it. And so when things are stressful and I work out, I forget about it, at least for the next hour or two, and then I can go back to it. But I have that time to clear my mind. So for me, the gym, people ask me, dude, you gonna keep working out forever? I'm like, that's never gonna stop. And that's why I pray that I never break anything or get injured, because I think I'd really struggle with that. And I don't want to make it an idol, but the gym for me is a lot of things. It's like where I go when I'm doing good or not doing good. It's like, so the thing that knows me best throughout the ups and downs.
The only thing that I can add to that is, maybe you don't have to go to the gym.
Yeah.
But like, find something that, because a big part of, for me, like starting a business or being on the journey of starting a business, is because there's a lot of things that you're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of unknowns. Yes, you have to be delusional, but like sometimes it can feel like you are throwing, how can I say, like, it's like everything you're trying is not working out.
Yeah, it's just like burning. You put it in there.
Bro,
and
like
burns.
When you're trying everything and it's not working out, having something that you go to.
Yeah.
Okay, I can give an example for me, because sometimes I, try different things.
Yeah.
Even like doing a podcast.
Yeah.
And you spend a lot of time, like I write everything.
Yeah.
I, pre-production, whatever. I have a full-time job. Combining that and doing the whole process is a lot.
Yeah.
When you post it and only 5 people watch it,
oh yeah, that sucks.
It's so easy.
Yeah, to get discouraged.
To freaking give up.
Yeah.
Right? When you put in the work to take the people on a journey that you have to take them on to be your client, and they end up dipping out literally on the last step,
man, that's a gut
that
wrench.
freaking sucks.
Yeah.
Right? And you're not like adding on top of everything else that is going on in your life.
Yeah.
You need something that is going to work.
Yeah.
I know if I go to the gym, I will come out feeling better than I did going in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need something that is consistent in your life. But man, like I appreciate you. I don't want to hold you for more than we already spent way more time than we predicted.
No, Roger, I
but
appreciate
I enjoyed the
you,
conversation.
man.
Maybe we should do it again.
We should. I like this, and I think that I am glad we connected, and I know we're gonna be friends and connect outside of this. But thanks a lot for your time, man, and even the effort of setting all this up, and it's a lot. It takes a lot. So
of course, dude. Last question: if a person wants to work with you, where do they go?
So they could either reach out to me on Instagram, Serge the Mortgage Daddy. They could.
We didn't talk about that, dude. That's a freaking nice name.
like it's a way, you got to be catchy and different. So
nobody would forget it. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll meet people and they're like, hey, the Mortgage Daddy or Loan Daddy. So it's a way for you to stick in people's mind. And that's what my goal was. But also to bring some humor to it so people know, hey, I'm chill. I'm not very serious all the time. But yeah, my Instagram, Serge the Mortgage Daddy. My company is Clearview Capital, so you can go to clearviewcapital.com. You can apply there as well. And then, yeah, my phone number and my details should be there. We have an office in Phoenix, Arizona here. So, but usually I get a lot of DMs on Instagram, or you literally go to our website and apply there. Or you can give me a call, text me. My number is 480-938-6189. But yeah, thank you so much for having me, Roger.
Of course, my dude.
Appreciate you, man.
Work with them, people.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Thank you.
What's going on? Thank you so much for watching. If you found that episode useful, you're going to like this video.